I here? Can you hear me clearly? Can you? They made these masks mandatory now. Oh man. Welcome to CRUSHIN. There we go. Welcome to CRUSHIN COVID Daily. Day 6. You have a mask? You're gonna need one. They actually made it mandatory for us to have these masks. So yesterday I was walking down the street and this gentleman pulls me over and says, hey, you need to go, in Portuguese, he was like, hey, you need to go get a mask. You know, it's important, you know, and then if I didn't, I know the police would, you know, be after me next. So I had to go buy this reusable mask. It cost me 10 euros. This thing that'll last me a lifetime. This is the most expensive mask I've ever bought in my life. This is crazy. I remember when I used to work at my dad's bakery that I used to have to wear these because I'm allergic to flour. I didn't wear it for a number of years actually growing up, but over the years, as years went by, I ended up using it. So it was really important. It was really important for me. Yeah, so I'm allergic to flour. I don't know if you guys knew that. All right, well, welcome to CRUSHIN COVID Daily. How you holding up? What's going on? I got an exciting show for you today, especially if you're interested and are into real estate investing. We've been covering that for the past few days, backed by popular demand. We're going to cover that today. Today, we're going to be also talking about some simple ways to get your business started legally. Okay, and if you check back, if you go to our YouTube channel, you can check on our YouTube and first of all, subscribe, push the subscribe button, and you'll be updated about our other videos that we have out specifically for real estate investors, helping them create clarity, as what I like to say, gain more clarity, build more confidence, and create some cash flow into their lives. Get over to our YouTube, subscribe, and you'll get updated and notified on those new real estate training videos that we have. All right, so if you're new with us, post a comment below. That way I can recognize you if you're new. I know we got people on Facebook and we got folks over on YouTube, but if you're new, I'd like to know that you're here. Post a new in the comments below. I love meeting new people and would like to get to say, you know, hello to you. And okay, so wanted to cover that. And also I got a few questions for you. Nothing crazy, but I want to tell you a few new things that have been going on. One of the things I wanted to share with you is yesterday I was in a meeting. I was in a Rotary meeting. Are you guys familiar with Rotary or Rotary International? If you are, I'd like to know. I actually was a Rotarian the first time when I was 20 years old. I became a Rotarian for political purposes. You probably guys heard me talk about my stint and run in politics some years ago. And I was told by my advisor, my campaign advisor, manager, to join Rotary, okay? And at the time, I didn't know what it was. And remember, guys, I was only 20 years old, so I wasn't really familiar with, you know, things outside of the university and the college that I was in and stuff like that. So after student senate president, I went into local politics, ran for city council at the time, and then I joined Rotary International. And this was one of the moments that I was with the youngest guy in the room, which is kind of common through my entire career. I was the youngest guy at Rotary, and I went and started meeting a bunch of people. And I did this to meet influencers and leaders in the community. But I really liked the fact that there was a lot of giving back. I mean, the whole core values about giving back to the community. Again, this was another one of my ways of giving back at that time in my life. So as you know, as years went by, I started really changing my focus of how I gave back. So these days I give back in the real estate community by giving trainings such like this one, and also helping my one-on-one clients help them increase their cash flow in their real estate business. And then on the giving side, that went right back to my roots in Uganda about giving more in that industry, in that country, but specifically in education. So those were really important things. This is like this white blackout over there. Sorry guys, might even be my camera. Anyway, let me just change this setting real quick while you're with me, and I will work on that. So one of the things about joining Rotary when I came out here into the islands of St. Michael is, let me just adjust this real quick. Hopefully this won't do any damage while we're here. Let's just try that. Oh, oh, oh. What color do you like better? This blue? You see that blue? Or the gray? I like this one better. It's just, there's a lot of, hold on, let me try this. Be right back. I don't think that did anything, but okay. It's just so bright. So bright. So bright in here. Okay. So when I came out here to the island, I was at my private offices. A buddy of mine said, "Hey, there is an English-speaking Rotary that is starting up." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with that." And he's like, "Well, you should come out and meet other people." And I said, "Okay, cool." Now, guys, even though I'm Portuguese and everybody says I speak good Portuguese, to me, it's like, I don't know all the detailed words. You can have basic conversation, but as it gets deeper, it's really difficult. So I went to the meeting and pretty much all the room, everybody was speaking English. So I was like, okay, cool. But another thing, in addition to that, there was a few guys that were from the United States. There was people that were in South Carolina, North Carolina. So I was like, hey, got a little more roots there. So that was really cool. So I connected with them, and they were just launching this. So anyway, long story short, the president, Brad, who was launching this group, wanted to, select the people. And, when he emailed everybody, right, he emails everyone this list, and he says, oh, here are the positions that are available. And it was all the positions, guys. It was from president all the way down, from secretary, treasurer, funding management. I mean, it was all the way down. Okay. And so when I first got the list in the email, the first thing I thought of was like, oh, president. Yeah, go, Nathan. That's you. and because I enjoy leading, and at the first thought, I was like, you know what? I can't do this right now. I can't give a percentage of me into being president. I know that it comes with a lot of responsibility, communication, and leadership. And with the projects that I have going on in real estate, I knew it wasn't for me. So I let it go. And I actually felt that I should let Brad, the guy who was organizing the group, I gave a vote and said Brad for president, right? And that was my thing. So that was my vote for him to be president. And then I just backed off. Interesting enough, Brad calls me. I was at a cafe with a business partner, and I'm at a cafe and Brad calls me. He calls me and he says, Nathan, what's going on? Hey, I noticed you didn't reply to the email about a position. And, everyone, gave some ideas. And I said, honestly, Brad, I said, my thing is, I think you should be president. As I left a comment there that you should be president, and I think that would be the best thing for the group. I said, I don't really know anyone else. You and I have chatted a few times, and that's about it. And he said, well, what about you? And I said, Brad, and he actually stopped me right there. He stopped me and he said, I think you should be treasurer. You seem like a guy who's good with money. And I started laughing, like literally I did an LOL at this cafe. I literally started laughing. I was like, okay. And I said, Brad, let me tell you something. I've been going back and forth with this, what position should I be in? And when your email came in, I literally was going to reply back to you and say, I'll be president. That was the first response I had. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to let God make that decision. I'm going to let God lead. If he wants me to put me in a leadership position, if he doesn't. And I'm telling all this on Brad over the phone while I'm at the cafe. And I just said, listen, I just left it to God. I said, if he's going to put me in a leadership position, then so be it. If not, that's why I just responded to you and said, Brad for president. And that was it. So I'm taking and this is what I was telling Brad. Remember, I'm telling Brad. So I'm like, Brad, I'm taking your guidance and your decision on you making me treasurer, and I'll go with that. And I got off the phone, and I started laughing, and I was just like, yep, that's it. That's awesome. So currently I'm in a position of being treasurer. I've never been a treasurer before, but I do agree with Brad that I am good with money. and not only good at saving it, but raising it for real estate. And we're going to be talking about that, raising money for deals, because I know a lot of people, when they get into real estate, they think like, okay, I only have so much money in my bank account, right? I only have X number of dollars, whatever it is, savings, checking, doesn't matter, or in your 401k. The reality is, no matter how much money you have, when you look at your statement or you look at your app, whatever you do to check your bank account, is that money would run out anyway. Even if you had $100,000 in your account right now, if you were to go out and do real estate investing, that money is going to run out. Okay, there's only so much you can do with 100,000. Okay, then if you had $1 million in your bank account, that real estate is only, that money is only going to buy you so much real estate. You're going to run out, right? So you're constantly going to run out of, even if there was 10 million. You're probably thinking like, Nathan, I would not run out of buying real estate if I had $10 million. Yes, you would, okay? Because instead of going for properties that are like 100,000 or 200,000, you're just going to kick it up a notch. You're going to go after properties that are $1 million, $3 million, $5 million, and you're only going to be able to do so much. So if you want to increase your portfolio, if you want to increase your cash flow, you have to raise money for real estate. It's just how it is. But this freaks a lot of people out. This, like, how do I raise money? Well, guys, I'm not going to be talking about that today. We're going to rewind and talk about how to make your business legal. Okay, how to get yourself set up. And by the way, if you're looking or interested in learning like 10 biggest mistakes that investors make, go back to day 3 or 4. I can't even remember at this point because we were on day 6 and there's a lot of different trainings I've been going over. But go watch the CRUSHIN COVID. I can't even call it a trilogy. What do you call a 30-day sequence? We have like a trilogy and a sequel, whatever. If you know what it is, let me know. But go and check out the past few days of CRUSHIN COVID over on YouTube, and you'll be able to see, you'll be able to hear about the 10 biggest mistakes that investors make. Yesterday, we talked about the 5 best resources to get started in real estate. And today, we're going to talk about making that legal. So that's just going to come up in just a bit. So going back to Rotary, I am the treasurer here of the Rotary group of San Miguel International, I think it's called. Sorry, I just forgot the name. And we had our first meeting the other day, went really well, and we're growing and expanding. We had our first, when I said meeting, we had our first virtual meeting yesterday. And that was really, really interesting. I do a lot of things virtually, as obviously here we are, but it was my first virtual Rotary meeting. And Rotary's really good, by the way. So let me just kind of sum this up about Rotary. When I was in Rotary in the United States, and I was a member of Rotary, I was doing it for political reasons at the time, and I was expanding my connections. I was growing my network. Here's the thing with Rotary, even if you're in business, it's a great organization to be a part of, because when you're familiar with other Rotarians, you are building trust. And a lot of these other Rotarians are people of influence or business in the community, or they can direct you to them. Now, when you're also a Rotarian, you gotta believe and apply the core principles. So when you're talking to another Rotarian, you already have a built trust. It's like if you're a member of like some religious faith, right? If you're going to a church or a synagogue, right? Or a temple, whatever it is, whatever religious faith, okay? And you go and you meet together and you're of the same faith, there's already a deeper bond there. There's like commonality, common interest, right? So it's like the same in Rotary, the trust goes up. Well, when you're in real estate investing, you really want to build relationships and you want trust to be built. So Rotary is a great tool. And the good thing about Rotary is it actually helps you out build those connections. So most people wouldn't say that. Most real estate gurus out there wouldn't tell you that. They mostly tell you to go out to the local real estate investment groups. But that can be kind of a little bombarded about a lot of too much education and not enough implementation. So Rotary is a great place to meet other people and build relationships for deals, even locally. Maybe you're raising money locally, or you're trying to do deals locally in your backyard. That's fine too. So Rotary is a great place to do that. All right, next, I have a question for you. I'm going to be doing actually a whole video on this here in the near future, and it'll be posted on our YouTube channel. But I have a question for you. So as you know, there's been some stimulus money coming into the United States. There's multiple rounds. There's all kinds of stimulus money for small businesses, for citizens, right? So just yesterday, I got our deposit for our family from the U.S. stimulus. This was the stimulus check, so the automatic deposits. So that came in, and I was thinking about this yesterday, and I said to myself, I said, okay, so this is new income, right? New income coming in. How much of this am I going to tithe, right? How much am I going to give? Now, some people, depending on whatever religion you are or what you believe about giving, there is a law that I want to tell you about, and I want to ask you a question. The law of reciprocity is very powerful. It's like the law of gravity, right? It's working right now. We got gravity in our favor here on Earth in this atmosphere, and it's working, right? So the law of reciprocity says, when you give, you shall receive. Most people think like this, that if you go give whatever, $1 to a homeless person, they're going to give you $1 back. That's how a lot of people think. I hope that's not you, but don't think that way. Most people think like if they give, time and effort and energy to someone, or even money to someone, that particular person is going to give it back. Does that make sense? So most people are expecting, even when they tithe or give, that when they do that, they're expecting it back. Their expectations of receiving are pretty high. Now, here's the tricky part. Not that it doesn't work. It does. The law of reciprocity always works. But it doesn't mean it's going to come directly from the same channel. The same channel that you give out doesn't mean it's directly going to come in. What's important is you want to kind of be a farmer, okay? And I have all these images running through my head about being a farmer right now. But what you want to do is you want to have a farmer mentality. That means you have a sack of seeds, right? You have a sack of seeds, and all you're doing is you're throwing. I'm hearing my buddy Gary in my head right now. You're throwing out your seeds into the fields, right? I could see Gary with like one of those weeds in his mouth and talking with the farmer talk. But anyway, you get the idea. You're throwing out your seeds into the land, and then what happens months later? You harvest. You reap your harvest, right? It's the same thing. When you're giving out information, helping someone, time, energy, whatever it is, then that will eventually come back to you. You also probably know this as karma, right? Karma, what goes around comes around, right? It's the same law. It's the same thing. So this is really powerful. It's a powerful law. You can actually use it in your favor. And by the way, guys, yesterday when I mentioned a few reading material, and I mentioned this book, The Secret of the Ages, it does talk about that also, the power of reciprocity. Also, if you've ever read the book, Think and Grow Rich, it talks also about the law of reciprocity. The book of The Strangest Secret that I mentioned yesterday also talks about the law of reciprocity. This is not new, guys. This is a powerful law that can work in your favor if you apply it. The expectation of thinking that same channel is going to give back to you might be a little tainted. You gotta think a little bit broader and bigger, because if you're thinking like, if I dedicate and I give to this channel, then it's just gonna pump right back. That's not always the case. That's not always the case at all. And the biggest challenge for a lot of people is when they believe when you give, you shall receive. But here's the thing: it doesn't mean it's going to come right back to you today or tomorrow. Time is the biggest factor in the law of reciprocity. Like, we feel gravity right away. That's the benefit about gravity. But the law of reciprocity doesn't have a timetable. So you have to be patient, right? Just like the farmer. I mean, the farmer is eventually going to reap the harvest, but there's a timetable to that. It's the same thing with the law of reciprocity. So it's there. It's powerful. It's on your fingertips. You can start doing it right away. Just remember to a helpful tip is remember to reduce your expectations, and you will live a much more happier life. And that's true for anything. If you reduce your expectations, your disappointments won't be as high, right? You won't have big disappointments in life if you reduce your expectations. You can believe and hope for bigger things, right? You can have a bigger mentality for bigger and hope in better things, but your expectations should be reduced. And that doesn't mean you should not have activity. You should always have activity. So my question to you, if you have received or going to receive on the second round or third round of your stimulus money, is my question to you is, would you tithe out of that stimulus money? That's my question. I'm not going to give you my answer. I'd like to hear your responses. So you can post that in the comments below, and then we're going to jump in. Let's transition. We're going to jump into the setting up a business, how to set up a business. And that's actually, by the way, now that I think about it, that's actually not an easy question. It is not a simple question. So I think before I transition, let me give you my answer, because this is not an easy question. Should you tithe? Well, somewhere in scripture, I don't know exactly, maybe I should have researched that a little bit, but it says, when you're, I think maybe it's like Matthew or something, but when you are any type of income, when you are gaining, right? Whenever you have gained, that means you should what? Give of your, was it first fruits? Something like that is the way it says it in scripture, so that you should give of your first fruits. So that's maybe your income, or maybe you get a tax return, maybe a stimulus, or maybe you closed a deal and you just made a chunk of profit, right? So now in scriptures it says 10%. Some people give more than 10%. That's fine. And some people give less, and they give what they can. There's a lot of scriptures about money and finance in the scriptures. So you should research that so that you have a guiding post. The other thing too is, but this is like extra money, right? Well, is this income to you, right? Is it income into your life? Is it a gain? I know in my real estate investing circles, this has been a topic sometimes, where like if you've, it's maybe not your primary income. So maybe you have like a job and you're working that job and that's your primary income, and maybe you give out of that income, but then you close a real estate deal and you just gained again, right? You gained more income. So what do? Right? Is that extra tithing? Is that extra giving? Right? These are really challenging questions. So I know I'm proposing here I'm proposing a very challenging question to you that some people don't feel comfortable with sharing. But if you believe or don't believe, either way, you can post it in the comments below, or you can just not. I know that's a challenging question for a lot of people. So I wanted to share my perspective on that. I believe you should. I believe you should, because it's a gain, right? It's income that you never had before. Now, some people, or I've done this before. I'll even tell you my experience. There's income that comes in from salaries from my company. However, I additionally give, like you guys, I'll share the video at the end here of this COVID daily. But I constantly find ways to give back to the communities in Uganda, kids who are trying to be in school, get in school, stay in school, or the charity work. And sometimes it's just random acts of kindness, okay? Random acts of kindness is rack, right? If you do rack in your life, and I'll do a whole nother segment on that in the future. But random acts of kindness could be, you just buy, like, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of random acts of kindness. In Uganda, there's this mom and her son. She has two sons. She has a 1-year-old. Well, now he's probably like 1-year-old. But I saw this baby like almost. I didn't see him born. How do I want to say this? I saw this baby when it was like at 2 or 3 months, and this mother had a son who was probably, I think, maybe 8 or 10, and his name was Ibrahim. And then the baby was Ibrahim. The young boy was, I forgot his name now. Maybe Adam. I can't remember the young boy. He was like 8 or 9. I can't remember his name. And then the daughter's name was Aisha. And she was probably 11 when I met her, or 12. So now here's the thing. I want you to imagine this scenario, okay? Imagine any big shopping mall closest to you, right? You got a big shopping mall. And this mom and her 3 kids would sit on the side of the shopping mall, outside, off to the side, and she'd sit there while all the pedestrian traffic is going through. A lot of people walk around in Uganda, so especially by this busy area. She would sit there selling a bunch of different stuff, anything from cigarettes to food to muffins to whatever you need, handkerchiefs, all that kind of stuff, right? So it was kind of like a daily routine. I'd pass this woman every day. I'd greet her, say hello. I'd pick up some things from her sometimes. And anyway, so the older son and the daughter, we would have conversations sometimes. We just, hey, how's it going? How come you're not in school, right? That was one of the things I picked up on. How come you're not in school? What's going on, right? So So unfortunately, the mom didn't have enough funds to put them in school on a regular basis. Okay. So they would be hawkers in the street. The brother and the sister would be hawkers in the street, and they would be hawking all the time. That was just something that was their daily life. So what is hawking? If in case you're wondering, some people might not know what that is. Hawking is I think of it when I did hawking on the street. It was selling newspapers on the corner of a street, right? That was a part of my hawking days. And then some people sell all kinds of things: food, fruits, gadgets, whatever it may be. Well, they would sell fruits around that big shopping mall outside. Okay, so they would go around asking and selling fruits. So oftentimes I was buying like these small, really sweet bananas. Those are really good. Mangoes, stuff like that. And I would do that, and I'd buy stuff from them to support them. So, but I quickly realized, I'm like, okay, you're not in school. You should be in school. You need to be in school. But they didn't have money for school fees. So the brother and the sister, I talked to the mom and I said, what can we do to get your kids in school? And in our conversation, which is kind of surprising, that she really wanted her daughter to go to school, but she needed the son's help. So I made a kind of little deal with her because I wanted both of them to go to school. But I made a little deal with the mom to at least get the daughter in school. So I'll never forget this day. What I did is I took the daughter. We went to like this little market around the corner, and we bought all kinds of stuff for school. I got her a backpack, pens, pencils. We just literally took a backpack and we started filling it with paper and notebooks and erasers, all the stuff that they need for school, right? So put that all in a backpack, paid for it, and then brought her back to her mom and said, look, she's all set for school. Let's get her enrolled in school. I gave the mom her school fees for 2 terms, gave her the money for the school fees so she could go to school. So she did. That was great. And fast forward about a month or two, I started encouraging the mom to do the same for the son. What I ended up doing for the mom was I just gave her the funds to pay for the son to be back in school and the mom to go buy the school supplies. I'm a big delegator, so I remember I gave her the money because I didn't want to go to go around shopping all again. It's one thing I do not like doing is shopping. So I gave the mom the money to do that, and then the boy, her son, was then in school. So it was really cool to see them in school, and I'd only see them on the weekends. I'd only see them on Saturday around the mall, where my office was on the top of that shopping mall. It still is, actually. I still have an office there. So it was really cool because I'd only see them on Saturdays now, and I'd still buy whatever, the sweet bananas or whatever, and I'd say hello and hear how they're doing. This went on for about a year, and then it was so cool to see them improving in life. They were happier. It was really cool. So my whole point of that is that's RAC. That's random acts of kindness. It's just something extra you do on the side, and I think that's something that everybody should experience. I will tell you this. This thought has never left me. It actually haunts me when I talk about giving back and doing random acts of kindness and stuff like that. This has never left me. I remember one day I was in North Carolina. I was in, I forgot what part of town, but it wasn't the funnest part of town. It wasn't the nicest part of town. And I found myself on that side of town because I was going for a haircut at a new location. And so I went there, finished the haircut, and I picked up food. I picked up Jamaican jerk chicken right on the side of that place. It was great. It came in a silver tray. I remember this in detail because it just never leaves you. Well, never left me. And I was driving out of the parking lot. I got my food, driving out of the parking lot, and I had a decision to go right or left. Left would take me up to the main expressway. Well, as I'm coming out of this parking lot onto the right, I see a man laying on the grass, and I knew he was homeless. It was obvious to me that the man was homeless. So I said, at that moment, I was like, I'm hungry. I just finished my haircut. I gotta go. I gotta go to my next thing. I think I was meeting up with a friend maybe 30 minutes from that time. But I looked at that man, and in my heart, I immediately knew, said, Nathan, go give that man your food that you just bought, your Jamaican jerk chicken. It's so good, by the way. Do you like jerk chicken? Have you ever had it? Do you like it? If you do, let me know, because yeah, it's amazing. And if you ever come out to Uganda, I got a great place that's not Jamaican, but there's some great chicken spots. I'd love to take you. So I'm looking at that guy that's laying on there. I knew he was homeless. And in my heart, I knew I was supposed to go over there and give him my food. And I didn't. I turned left instead of turning right. And I wasn't under the gun. I wasn't under pressure for an appointment or anything like that. It was just a decision that I made. Do you know that that hasn't left my mind or heart till this day? I still think about that situation. I still think about that guy. I still think about the decisions that I made at that moment. And it's in those moments that you'll never forget. I look at those moments as acts of obedience. Acts of obedience, like you should be obedient to those heart callings, and you need to focus on them and you need to take action on them. Because when you do, it will be the most rewarding experience. It reminds me of the time when, right when I was about to get engaged and in Uganda, and I made that decision because I listened to that calling. And if I wasn't obedient to that calling, I would not be living this amazing life with my amazing family that I have right now. So, decisions that you make with those callings, you have to be listening to them. You have to pay attention to them. Otherwise, they'll slip by and you'll always wonder what it would have been like and the impact you could have made. All right, guys, that's enough of the deep stuff. We're going to transition. We're going to take a break. I still don't have any water. Can you believe this? I got like 20 empty bottles of water over there. But we're going to come right back. Just give me a second. It's time for a water break. Here you go. Sorry about that. I probably had it on mute, or you're probably hearing an echo right about now. I'm still getting used to how to use these control systems with this audio, but I'll get there one step at a time. At least I got my water. All right, let's transition. We're going to transition into 3 ways to get your business set up legally. That's what's going on. So let me share my screen with you. Oh, what do you see? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. All right, let me grab this. Okay, you see that? Yeah, you got that, right? Fantastic. All right. Oh, but you don't see me. You gotta show me. All right, I'm gonna be here with you. All right. All right, so 3 ways to make your business legal. This is a question that comes up quite a bit, especially when I'm working one-on-one with my coaching clients and how to do it. It's actually shocking how many times people do not have a business set up, even when they're getting started. It's really important. After all, you are in business. All right, so the first way is the DIY, the do-it-yourself, which I don't recommend. I don't recommend it, but it's a way you can do it. So I wanted to share this part because it's an opportunity. It's a way to do it, but it's not a method that I recommend at all. So how would you do this by yourself? How would you set up your own legal entity by yourself? And very simply, you'd go to your Secretary of State. Secretary of State. They would be the one to help you. Maybe they'll give you documentation. They'll give you the documentation you need. They'll ask you to fill out a bunch of forms. You'll have to do a name search in that state to make sure that the name isn't already taken, okay, your business name. So those are important things that you would have to do. You'd have to pay a fee. The fee will range from state to state because every state is different. Every state, remember I told you guys this the other day, every state has their own jurisdictions and laws. Even though it's the United States of America, it doesn't matter. Every state has its own guidelines and fees that they charge to have a business registered, okay? And also, if you need a business license for that, they will also tell you what business license you need. Now, by the way, guys, let me tell you something. While we're talking about the yourself mode and DIY style of setting up a business, I want to let you know right now, I am not a lawyer. I am not a legal counsel in any way. I don't pretend to be one even on television. So you should seek legal counsel if you want to do this. Otherwise, you can do it on your own, but it's very messy. Now, I will tell you this, my experiences, have I done this on my own before? Absolutely not. I've never set up this stuff on my own because personally, it's too confusing for me. I just don't like it because I start getting a little bombarded with all these words and processes. And listen, government websites are not that easy. I remember, maybe like 10 years ago when we did have, listen, the internet wasn't what it was today as it was 10 years ago, but state government websites are not always amazing. They're not like beautifully designed and they're not easy to use. So go back 10 years ago, longer than that. Gosh, 15 years ago. I remember 15 years ago when I set up my first company. Was it 15? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like, I don't know, whatever. 10, 15 years ago, I set up my first company. I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even tell you what the website was and how to do it, and even if there was a state website, because as years went by, I set up a few companies, and I said, oh, let me go check out how to do it yourself. And good God, years ago, the websites were not helpful at all. So I decided not to do it that way. And I know some people can. It's the cheapest way. Okay, it's the cheapest way to do it. But if you're unsure or you're unclear on how to do it all, which it can be confusing sometimes, or you need some guidance, then you might want to get some help. By the way, if you do want some help on how to do these things, I'm going to see if I can do this right now on the fly. I guess I can't with you. Oh, I can. Yeah, I think I can. I think I can. Can I? Okay, I think I did it. Hold on. Aha, there we go. If you do, this is the website. I'm pretty sure it's the website. Watch it be like some sports website, but it's called score.org. You know what? We should probably check. Let me know. I think it's the right one. Let me just pull it up now that I'm like showing you this live. But if you go to score.org, what this is there's it's a national group that is run by the government that allows to help entrepreneurs and people set up their businesses. Yes, it's score.org, and they help you set up your businesses and gives you a local mentor. And actually, I became a part of score.org years ago as a client. You don't have to pay for anything. It's actually a free resource, but they partner you up with a mentor. And I actually had a mentor at score.org to help me set up one of my first business plans, help me raise my first $10,000 for one of my companies. That was like 11, 12 years ago, which was awesome. And that business went out of business. But it was really cool to set up a company that it was good to set up a company that I didn't have to put any money into myself. Yeah, unfortunately, the business went out of business. I closed it down because it went like that, and then it just took a roll of like a stock. It went like a really exciting stock. It jumped up and it went down, and then we didn't recover from that, so we just closed it down. But yeah, I was able to. I went to score.org. I found a local mentor, helped me set up a business plan. Helped me do the executive summary, and I raised $10,000 of seed capital to start this company, and that was really cool. And then anyway, moving on, you could go to score.org. You could help someone. They could go there, get a mentor, and they could help you set up your business if you wanted to. If you wanted the DIY approach, okay, honestly, that's the slow road. Okay, there are better and faster roads than doing it this way. Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't recommend it. Okay, moving on. I'm just letting you know there is a way. I can't see my next screen. Let's try. How can I see my next screen? I don't know. Da, 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 da. How do I go to next slide? Oh, okay, I got it. Nope, that's not it. That's new slide. Sorry, guys. Let me do this real quick. Navigator. That's what I wanted. All right, next one is Rocket Lawyer. Rocket Lawyer. Now, you guys heard me mention this one yesterday. Okay, Rocket Lawyer has. I want to show you something else too, though. Rocket Lawyer. While I'm pulling this up, hey, why are you still there? Be gone. Be gone with you. Rocket Lawyer also has some resources. Let me pull this up right now. Give me 1 second, because I'm going to show you 2 resources for this one. Oh man, I am moving windows around like crazy. Okay, where'd you go? Here you are. Okay. I'm going to show you 2 resources for this one, okay? Because this is really I could have said 4. I could have said I'm going to give you 4 resources. But they basically do the same thing. So I'm going to show you 2 resources that can help you out. Let's do that. Okay, so we talked yesterday about Rocket Lawyer, and let me reduce this because I can't see anything that's going on today. Okay, so I showed you this one here. You can go to start a business, right? And you have to pick the state. Remember, I told you that, guys. You have to pick your state. So let's pick Kentucky. And why did I just say that in a very southern accent or a Kentucky accent? So next you would pick the type of entity. Guys, I cannot advise you at what entity structure you should have, okay? But I can tell you what I've done. This is some of the questions that most people have. Like, what should I do? Should I do an LLC? Should I do a C Corp? Should I do an S Corp, right? What should I do to, what entity structure should I have? And you could go and ask questions and all this, but this is more now of a tax question. Here's where the tax advice is needed, okay? So because all of these have different, will impact your taxes personally differently, okay? Now, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but when I set up my businesses that I'm operating businesses, not holding real estate, okay? Not holding any assets of real estate. I typically set up an S Corp or a corporation, subchapter S, or a corporation, subchapter C. I am not going to get into the details of that right now, but maybe we can cover that in the future, and I can tell you the differences of them, okay? The LLC is a very limited liability company, is what it represents, and it's the very easiest way. They actually I think the LLC came out in 1992. I can't remember. It's more recent, or maybe it was like the 1970s. I'm sorry, I don't remember the date, but it's one of the newer entities because, guys, the corporation started back in, what was it, like the 1700s or 1500s? I think it was really used a lot by the Spaniards and the Portuguese and the UK. They actually started, I think, for shipping, right? For shipping stuff on boats. That's like a butchered history, okay? So this is where you could set it up right through here. But now, if you know, then you could easily set up your company. If you've done this before, or if you haven't done it before, you could easily, set up through here. Hey guys, look, if you want help, they'll help you. Just call them and they can help you up. So you can do it through Rocket Lawyer. Another service I would recommend is LegalZoom. I personally have never set up a company through Rocket Lawyer. Like I shared with you yesterday, I've used Rocket Lawyer to do simple contracts or to do simple eviction notices, stuff like that, if I've had to. Sometimes I like to delegate most of that stuff. I love to delegate to my lawyers to do that, and rather than doing it myself, because when it comes to legal matters, you really want a professional to get it done for you, okay? Now, guys, by the way, if you're looking at this, it says business and families in Portugal. If you're in the United States, it will say the United States. It just knows where I am. Why? Because we're being watched all the time. All right. So here you can set up your LLC, your incorporation. Here, guys, one thing I really like about LegalZoom, and I've used them multiple times over the years for different things, is they're really educational and informative. So if you didn't know what to do, they have not only forums, but they also have the forums where people are asking these same questions, but you could also ask for legal advice as well, okay? Another cool feature right here, boom, you want to check your availability right here on the website. You can do that. So let's call it Zap Zap Company. We're going to create Zap Zap. Okay, this is our new company, Zap Zap. All right, we're going to check out if it's available. What state would you like to do it in? We got to do Kentucky, guys. We got to do Kentucky because we're on a roll with Kentucky. All right, so we got that. Hey, Zap Zap is available. That's fantastic. See, it already did the search for me. Guys, if you go to any government website, I don't even know how they do it, but every state is different. So the UI and the website is going to look very different, maybe a little complicated. It's a little easier. See how fast it is? I just did it right here. If I went to like the Secretary of State of Kentucky, it might be not as clean or easy to do. Bam, right here. And if I wanted to get started and I wanted to set up Zap Zap, enter your business industry. So what would I do? For example, is it a restaurant, a florist, a technology company? Of course, it's gotta be a tech company because it's called Zap Zap. Right? So then next, are you a licensed professional seeking to form a professional corporation? Am I licensed? Are you a licensed professional seeking to? No, I'm not a licensed professional. Such as, excuse me, I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to read and move it to the side because I got windows open up. Maybe I should move this to the side. All right. Professional corporations are formed for specific services like medicine, dentistry, law, and more. Well, no, we're a tech company. So no, we're not going to do that. Will Zap Zap have employees? Yes, me. I'm going to be the president of Zap Zap and I want a paycheck. Would you like us to help obtain S corporation status? What does that mean? LegalZoom. An S corporation is treated as a pass-through entity for tax purposes. Oh wow, what does that mean? This avoids double taxation and may simplify your taxes. Now, when you hear that and you hear the word simplify, yes, if you're starting out and you've never been in business before, this is probably a great option for you, subchapter S, okay? If you have been in business before, then and you know what you're doing, you're probably going to start off with the C corporation, okay? Now, you can transition later on down the road from an S corporation to a C corporation. It's not a problem. It's just a piece of paper. You don't have to do it, or you could if you want to do, but have your CPA do it. They could do it for you and change your status, okay? I'm not going to get into the details of that, but for right now, I am going to put yes. We would like help in doing S corporation because why? We want to avoid right now, we want to avoid double taxation. Later on, as your business is growing, you might want double taxation. I'm not going to tell you how that all works right now, and you should get a CPA that's going to teach you how to do that because it can work in your benefit. But for now, we're going to simplify our taxes. So yeah, please help me with the S corporation. Are you the primary contact? I don't want to be my assistant. No, yes, you're going to click yes. All right, the best way to contact you. Oh, okay, this is where it's going to get funny. We're going to put JoJo. JoJo's email. JoJo123@gmail. Come on, you know this is my email, right? And my phone number. Oh, this is gonna be my phone number. The never forgetful 5s. Let's see what happens. I bet you're going to send me an email. Oh my gosh, what's going on now? All right, here are some essential services for Zap Zap. Based on your answer so far, for the next 2 pages, detail the key services you need to comply with the formalities of launching and running your corporation. So by law, you will require a registered agent. Notice how it says by law. Every state, you need to have a registered agent. What is a registered agent? That means a person who can accept any communication, form of communication, any litigation documents, I think that's the way you say it, any legal documents, taxation documents, all that kind of jazz for your company. It can be yourself or it can be someone else, okay? It could be your lawyer. It could be a company. If you were to use the Googles to find out registered agent companies, there's a plethora of companies out there. They can be local, they could be in a different state. It's fine either way. Here's the cool thing. LegalZoom, many of these companies like LegalZoom, Rocket Lawyer, whoever, they provide registered agent services for an additional fee. So you can hire them to be your registered agent. Now, oh, and I already said this part. Look, this is for official address service for state and court documents. You took the words out of my mouth, LegalZoom. You will also require specific paperwork and legal documentation. We can take care of this easily and affordably. Sure, relax. We got you registered agent services. We just relax because you're legally required to do this. It's an easy choice and it's a great value for only no fees until your documents are submitted to the state for just $159 for your first year and renews annually. I don't know what the annually is. It's probably more than that. Obviously, $159 isn't it like $200, $300? These will range in price, guys. It range as low as maybe $100 to as high as $300. It will all depend. Let's just continue. Bam! What are we going to do next? We got decisions to make. We got big corporate decisions. You're now the president of Zap, so you got to make a decision. Are you just going to do select your option of the complete package and we'll take care of Zap? You claim these costs back to you on your corporate tax return. So they're telling you you can save on taxes on your corporate tax return. All right. Bylaws and resolutions tells you what it's about. So you do your bylaws, resolutions plus EIN. What's an EIN? Employee identification number. So if you're a U.S. citizen, you have a tax identification number, right? Or excuse me. That's wrong. You have a social security number, right? SSN. SSN is your social security number. That's how you're taxed. What? Personally. Your business has a number too. It's called an EIN or a TIN, right? These are different numbers. Right now, we're getting an EIN for your BitNet, okay? For your BitNet. EIN is required. Without it, you cannot file taxes or even open up a bank account. So you need an EIN. You need it. It's a must. Now, you can do that one. Oh, wait. Go back. Go back, Nathan. Okay. Then there's the complete package. Bylaws and resolutions, EIN, and business licenses. Okay, $249. These are the different pricing. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I would recommend just do the not to do the bylaws and resolutions because you're probably thinking like, Nate, man, I can go get an EIN number for free. Yes, you can. Just like Obama said, yes, we can get an EIN number for free. On the IRS website, you can go get an EIN number, type in your company Zap information, and it's going to ask you about 20 questions. You may not have the answers to them. You may have the answers to them, and boom, you get an EIN number right away, really fast, really quick. Thank you, IRS. That'll help you do that. However, if you want them, this LegalZoom or Rocket Lawyer, whoever, Rocket Lawyer, to do all this on your behalf, then they'll do it for you for an additional few pennies. Then, if you do the complete package, they'll even help you get a business license, bylaws and resolutions, and the EIN number for only $249. Very good. I would encourage you to do the complete package. In my opinion, I think it's the best way to go, unless you really know what you're doing and you want to do other things yourself. If you're just getting started, I would have them do it. See other business services. I'm not sure what this is about. What do you want to sell me now? Few little upsells. Tax return forms, professional advice, all at a fraction. Okay, they're telling you we'll offer this for 10 days with your order, then continues automatically at $320 a year. Basically, they're giving you, helping you, your business income tax returns included state and federal. So they're willing, this is new, by the way, I haven't seen this before, but they're willing to help you file your state and taxes for your business. You can get unlimited advice on any new tax matter, maximize your tax bill, and a fraction of the amazing price. Now, this is a new service. I haven't seen this before, nor have I experienced it, so I can't give you my personal recommendation. But it's there if you need it. It's up to you. You can do the trial or you can say no thanks. Now, guys, I'm just clicking no thanks for now because I want to go to the next screen. You choose what you want to do. Do you want to be a smart employer, such as, do you need legal or HR documents? Do you want to protect your corporation with unlimited advice for any unemployment or other legal issues in 30-minute consultations. Writes it up, ensure that everything right. Oh, this is just additional features. Okay, asking you again, do you want to be a smart employer? I'm saying no, I guess I don't right now. I'm saying no just to get through this, but you make the decisions for your company, okay? All right. Obviously, you could say, we've got your back, peace of mind, and I just keep saying no 3 times for this particular reason. I want to bring up something that's really important. This is going to vary from state to state, okay? We picked Kentucky, but Kentucky, KY, has, KY, Kentucky has a $50 filing fee. Guys, this fee will range by state to state. By the way, let me know what state you're in. Post it in the comments below. I have set up companies in Massachusetts, in Rhode Island, in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Texas, and Georgia. And all these state fees are different. The most expensive states are California and Massachusetts. And they're really expensive. And you have to pay them annually. So those fees are due annually. The other fee is LegalZoom's fee, the $149, $329, or $349. So let's just take the most expensive one for right now. The complete fastest service, 10 days, will get it all done. And they give you this and that and this and that and all this and that and 2 dots more than that. And you get all that done for $349, $400. You get everything done. You're Express Gold. They want to know something about Bank of America. We're going to say no thanks to that. Here's a grand total. I'm going to show you a grand total. By the way, this is if you're in Kentucky, because these prices will vary. You can either pay for it all up front. Oh, right here. We have everything. We have the company details, S Corporation Obtainment, $60. We have the state filing fee, $50. Express Gold Corporation, $349. Then the bylaws, resolutions, and EIN and business licenses, $249. We also, we selected that, right? I think we did. Yeah, registered agent services, $149. Free for 10 days, then you get billed, they said. Okay, do you want those other things? No thanks for now. Total would be $708, one payment, or 3 easy payments of $238. That's how easy they make it for you to get your business set up. Now, guys, this will range in costs. The most expensive way to do all this is... I can't change the slide. I need to learn how to change my slides. Number 3, a lawyer, right? This is the most expensive way to set up your legal structure. How do I know? Because I've done it before. Yes, I felt the pain of setting up one entity with a lawyer, and it is very expensive, over $2,000. It depends what you're doing. It depends what kind of company you need to set up. What gets most expensive when you're using a lawyer is your operating agreement. If you're having partners in the company, then you're going to need an operating agreement. That operating agreement can tick up the hourly rate on the lawyer's time to draft the operating agreement and to put all the little details in there, okay? So this is the most expensive option. Typically will range anywhere between $1,500 to as high as $3,500 for a lawyer, depending on your operating agreement and if you do have one or you don't have one. So if you do have an operating agreement in your company that you're setting up, then that price goes up. If you don't have one, you're probably looking at ballpark maybe $1,500, maybe $2,000. So doing it through a lawyer is another way to do it. It is a little bit more expensive unless you know a lawyer that can give you a buddy-buddy deal, okay? So I don't recommend all this all the time, depending on how many companies you're setting up, depending on how many properties you're buying. If you're holding property in an entity, you might not need to have a lawyer do it all the time. You could do it yourself and move the entity in there. Different things like that. This is going to be the most expensive option, but I did want to let you know that it is one of the ways to do it because this is a legal matter. This is a legal situation. When you are having an entity set up, it's the legal thing to do. So with that being said, we're back, we're here, and wow, you guys made it really easy for me today. I have no questions. No questions at all. Does that mean I did a fantastic job, or you're just shy? No, I'm kidding. No, but at the end of the day, if you don't have any questions while you're watching it live, that's okay. If there's any questions later on after like a replay, or you're coming back to this when it's not live, that's okay too. Post your questions in the comments below or remarks. Give it a like. If you're over on YouTube, subscribe to, oh, thank you for that like, by the way. Appreciate it. If you're over on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And that way we can, boost the algorithms in YouTube so more people can get this training. All right. That's all for today, guys. I am going to sign off and sign out with the video that I said I was going to show you earlier about when we were talking about charity and giving and all that kind of stuff. So I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Until then, a la mañana.